Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our wrestling podcast. So without further ado, the following podcast is scheduled for one fall, and today's topic, overhyped and failed gimmicks part 2.
Welcome to the O.W.P. This is our wrestling podcast. This is Dave along with Jess.
Yes.
And Cuz.
Hey, what's up, buds?
Hey, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. And now on to our topic today, overhyped and failed gimmicks, part 2. As always, you can reach us via Instagram at O.W.P 2019, SoundCloud at Our Wrestling Podcast, YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel, or download WrestlePost. It's an app at no charge to you, and you can get that on Apple or Android platforms, and join us along with other great podcasts of the day. So, we had so much fun talking about overhyped and failed gimmicks. We just...
And let me just say this.
Have to do it again.
You actually got pretty decent downloads on that. And you motherfuckers out there, and you know who you are, which is everybody, because nobody does what I'm about to say, is that you guys don't fucking leave comments and shit. You know, agree or disagree, or put a fucking suggestion for a topic in there. Just stop being assholes and just fucking comment. Sorry. I love our fan base so much. I just really want to tell you guys how much I love you. But seriously, fucking stop being bitches and comment. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Because how do you feel about running through this again for a part D?
Oh, I like when we do the continuation episodes. Actually, I want to keep doing these part 1s and part 2s because, for one, there's so many different wrestlers to cover. Too many different topics.
In one part, you can't sum it up in one part, right?
Nah, too many good topics too. Too many different topics. Still got more underrated WrestleMania moments and underrated wrestlers, and then
that was it. We covered everything in the first.
Yeah. So. We're gonna bring up about 4 to 5 here. I want to start off with I'm so embarrassed for these guys. This is just terrible. Jess brought up just 2 words, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I went and I did my research. I started looking it up. I watched the videos, and I couldn't be more embarrassed for Jim Evans and Richard Sartain. They had some decent runs. They did some prelim work. They did, enhancement talent work. But the thing that really kind of sets them in stone in the worst way possible is the tag team called the Ding Dongs.
God, this is the best. Instantly, I am stimulated in the sense of like I was in the last episode, part 1. Where I'm
just like, so excited, right?
Like, it feeds me. God damn it, it feeds me so good. I love it.
Yeah, this is fucking amazing. So
WCW was such a train wreck.
So Evans himself was actually being used as enhancement talent in the WWF. He's actually kind of working double duty here. And the rumor, this is another fucking Jim Herd creation, by the way. The same motherfucker that wanted to cut Flair's hair and call him Spartacus and all that bullshit. We've talked about it before. You can go back to our archives and check some of that out. And the Hogan Flair episodes, I'm sure it's brought up there. And
I know we talked about it, but have I called him a piece of shit or a cocksucker yet? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, just in case he's a piece of shit and a cocksucker. But go ahead.
Yeah, keep going. So the rumor is Jim Herd saw how the Bushwhackers were tamed in the WWF before they were the sheep herders, and they were quite violent. I mean, in their territory runs.
Oh, David Crockett! David Crockett! The Fantastics are a pain in the sheep herders!
And he's like, well, we can do that here. I got
do what Vince does.
Yeah, and just fucking duplicate
we
it.
can make the monies
with the Ding Dongs. Hey, Jess, can you explain this mess with the fucking Ding Dongs, please?
Who, me? Oh, okay.
Yeah, yes. Please.
So this fucking asshole, Jim Herd, like, just I don't know how, okay, here's the deal. like I have 2 kids, right? And I'm married and all that stuff. And even before I had kids, like, Liz and I were pretty much like, we're not going to be deadbeats and we're going to hold jobs down and shit like that. And, we struggle hard. And sometimes you work for a job where you get paid a fair wage from what you think. Sometimes you're like, I'm underappreciated. I should get more money. WCW was throwing money out like it was fucking, I don't know what, like it was licorice. Like you're just throwing money out there. And this fucking asshole Jim Herd gets hired like as the executive vice president, I think. I don't know. They changed the title so much. I know that was Eric Bischoff's title, but I think he was the executive vice president of WCW. And Turner was throwing money at people. So this fucking guy, who, according to Flair, was like one of the CEOs of Domino's Pizza or Pizza Hut, right? And he did some other things in other business ventures, but nothing in pro wrestling. So they fucking throw money at this fucking guy. I want that job. Like, like I said, we just fucking work and I think I'm paid a fair wage or whatever. This fucking guy had no qualifications. He got paid at least 6 figures, right? Like, God, Jesus Christ. He got probably paid. He probably got like $500,000 a year for doing this. And he comes in. And if you listen to part 1, a lot of that shit he was, I know I kind of, imitate Dusty and blame Dusty for that shit. But like Jim Herd was really behind all that stuff, especially the idea, which he halfway executed, of cutting Flair's hair short and naming him Spartacus. He got his hair cut short successfully, but he did not name him Spartacus. Thank God. He still stayed the Nature Boy Ric Flair. So this fucking guy gets 6 figures for coming up with shit like this. Let's do what Vince is doing, which is fucking what everybody did at that time. Like I said in the first part, the first episode that we did, where it's like you fucking like the whole thing is like your best bet is to be an alternative to Vince. Vince had the cartoon market and the kids market cornered, but his thing was like, no, we just want a piece of the pie. So if we do what Vince does, we get some monies, and Vince gets all the monies, but if we get a little bit of monies, that's still some monies in the long run. So this dumb shit like says, you know what? Let's come up with a tag team. The Bushwhackers are really successful, and they used to be a tag team called the Sheepherders, and they were violent, and they would make, they would bleed, and they would, make their opponents bleed or whatever. They were kind of hardcore before that was even a word. It was a word, but you know what I mean? It wasn't like a term in wrestling. So he says, so look what Vince did with the Bushwhackers. He tamed them and made them like this little kid act, and they come down, they lick kids' heads, and they lick the referee's head, and they, do all this shit. And like, yeah, that's what I want. We need Bushwhackers. Let's fucking develop a tag team that is in full head to toe mask, full body suit, all the way down to their feet. You can't see any skin on their body. And we're going to call them the Ding Dongs. What's their gimmick? They have bells glued to them that ding. Get it? God!
Soon to be making their way toward the ring area from Belleville, USA. Total combined weight, 455 pounds. The Ding Dong!
And on top of that, because get it, their name's the Ding Dong, so they have bells glued to them.
Yeah.
So let's fucking drive that home even harder by literally when they're out there wrestling, on the ring post, they tie a bigger bell, so you ring it with the string, like when you ring the bell and the string's tied to the middle part, and ding, ding, ding. So the entire time they're wrestling, whoever's on the apron, whoever's not in the ring on the Ding Dong tag team, they fucking ring the bell, ding, 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 the entire fucking match. Get it? Ding Dongs. The only fucking Ding Dong is fucking Jim Herd. And I know that's a fucking lame-ass joke, but Jesus Christ.
Him and Flair.
Jess, when they kept ringing the bell like nonstop, what was the reaction in the crowd?
The reaction was, I think, like about 30% of them shit their pants, and like the rest of them just fucking either went and got beer or went to sleep. I don't know which.
Straight up, when I watched it, bro, when the bell ringing was nonstop, the crowd was noticeably like boo. Like
yeah, they were booing so loud. This was Jim Herd's answer to the Bushwhackers, right?
Yeah, supposed to be a face.
If we push these guys right, like let's get the money. So like we push him right, like he's gonna. Oh, these guys are gonna get over like the Bushwhackers. They're gonna be called the Ding Dongs. Like just, and again, it shows you the fine line between what genius Vince was and how he knew how to appeal to kids. Whether you agree or disagree with the bubblegum cartoon WWF wrestling, it doesn't matter. He knew how to do it. And like, it's just so fucking funny to me that legitly, I'm not lying. They're in masks, like a black, right? Or dark blue or some shit.
No, it's almost like an orange.
Like an orange or reddish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like a maroon is awful.
They're trying to pick up like a billboard sign, but they're covered.
It's like
right?
a Power Ranger.
They're covered head to toe, bro.
They're covered head to toe, and that was his thing. The Bushwhackers are not covered head to toe. They have like gimmicks. They have fucking camel pants on. The Bushwhackers. They do little vignettes where they're out in the outback and they're fucking eating raw fish.
Well, that's what's so interesting is like Sartain and Evans were kind of known. If you had given them a tag team and a decent gimmick and actually showed their faces, they might have gotten over. But there was no chance because you don't know who these guys are.
Correct on that, but go ahead. They would have never gotten over because Jim Herd was in.
Well, Jim Herd's a piece of shit.
And so was I, baby. This is gonna come with the ding dongs, and they're gonna be, no. Okay, baby.
So how much say did Ric Flair have on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, at the end of it, maybe that would have worked, but there was no face to him. The bell's ringing nonstop. The crowd is booing the shit out of him. The debut is absolutely horrible. And Jim Ross was noticeably just not happy in the commentary, and fucking bells everywhere. And
that Jim Ross wanted to be like, my God, the ding dongs! Some please come behind me and just stick a hot knife in my throat, and end it right now.
Way to victory! Oh, that was horrible.
And like I said, fucking bells everywhere at the end of the match.
Jim Ross, like I said, like that was my translation. Jim Ross really was like. He didn't say these words like "kill me now," but he meant that. Like I think Dave was telling me off the air, like he said something like, "Well, that was terrible." Like on commentary, audibly, Jim Ross was like, "What? This is the fucking dumbest idea I've ever seen in my life." I'm sorry, I lost my shit. It's the dumbest thing ever. Like they sit in board meetings, Dave and Cuz. They sit in board meetings and they talk about shit, and nobody goes, like an intern, Mr. Hurd. This is dumb shit. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. No, we're gonna do ding dongs. Dustin's like, that's right, baby. I'm gonna feed off that ding dongs. Yeah, ding my dong, baby. Come on, tell me, feed me. Like fucking ridiculous. Nobody stepped in and said, no, we're not doing that shit. Like these fucking, I'm not trying to rip on Dusty, but these fucking legendary wrestlers that are on the booking committee, when they listen to Jim Herd, like, have you ever heard of a bad idea, right, from a coworker or just anybody? And you're like, yeah, we could do that, and maybe we'll adjust it like this. And you try to put a spin on it to make it kind of tolerable because their original idea is really bad. Nobody did that with Jim Herd. Why? Why, I ask, why? Why would you not? When he says in the boardroom, okay, guys, I don't even know what Jim Herd sounds like. Well, he's going to sound like this. He sound like this. That's my impersonation of Jim Herd. So here's my idea. Vince McMahon has the Bushwhackers, right? Everyone goes, right. And then he goes, okay, I'm going to counter that with the tag team called the Ding Dongs. And people are like, they're in stunned silence at this point, and I'm just imagining this. And they're in stunned silence, and they're like, ding dongs, like they carry like the cake ding dongs, like the cupcake ding dongs. No,
hostess, baby.
Hey, ding dong, like the bells, ding dong.
Whoa,
you're a ding dong. You get it, ding dong. You get it. You get it, ding dong. They're gonna come down. And Dusty or somebody just goes, that sounds good, baby. Let's do it. So I don't know if they were saying, yes, let's do it, to like, you're going to fucking get fired. Like, so go ahead and go be my guest and do that shit. Or if they were just like, whatever, Jim, I don't know. Like nobody stepped in and said, no, you know what? Like we're on live TV. We're on live TV on TBS, Clash of the Champions. And you want to do that? Nobody stopped him. Why? To where poor Jim Ross has to actually, Jim Ross, who is the greatest, like, play-by-play of all time, right? Can we agree on that?
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Yeah.
So you forced the greatest play-by-play, even back here, he was probably the greatest play-by-play ever. Yeah, and you force him. Think about what they did to Jim Ross. They eye-raped him and made him watch this. Like, I have to call this shit? Yeah, you got to call that shit. So what are we doing again, Jim? The bells, they carried the bells down. Okay, fuck. Oh. Anyway, fans, welcome back. Oh, man, the ding dongs.
Wowie.
Vince McMahon, if you're hearing me, Vince, please hire me. Please. Anyway, but welcome back to Clash Champion. Like, it had to have been that, right? It had to have been like Jim Ross, or Dave even said, like I said, off the air, he said something to the effect of, well, that was terrible. Like, it was something that happened in the ring. This fucking company, oh, God, so great. Hall of Fame. God damn it, Dave, Hall of Fame. WCW 1990 through 1994. Absolutely Hall of Fame. How can you say not? It's the best shit ever. It's the best shit ever for all the wrong reasons.
You know what I always come back to when I can't even remember what. Oh, it was a Monday Night War segment where Jim Ross said I literally churned down money, like money where I could have been off the air. I could have been making money with WCW and not work. and I literally said, "You keep your money, so I can go work in the WWF." He knew how bad it was.
That comment and that decision stemmed from this moment when he had to sit there and witness
and watch the fucking ding dongs.
Like he was just like, my God, fuck. Somebody please just snapper me from the top of the rafters or whatever. Like, I mean, there's plenty of room up there because God knows it's empty up there in the rafters. Jesus. Please shoot me in the face. Like, I swear to God, like, poor Jim Ross. Like, poor Jim Ross.
Yeah. Well, at least he didn't have to witness this next one. I mean,
all that. Put yourself. I know this is way out of fucking. We're taking way too long. But like, how do you think about? Okay, Dave, you're a commentator. You're a play-by-play, right? So
yeah, I enjoy it.
How you doing? I'm Jess. I'm the fucking. I'm directing the show. So here you go. So let me go over some notes tonight, Dave, in Clash of the Champions that you're gonna have to call. We have a tag team called the Ding Dongs, and they have bells glued on them.
Wait, what?
Exactly. And just hear me out, Dave. And I want
you said the Ding Dongs, right?
Yeah, I said the Ding Dongs. Anyway, no, not like cakes or the cupcakes, but I mean like bells.
Like bells.
Yeah, they're going to come out there and they're going to ring bells. That's what they're going to do. And they're going to wrestle, but they're going to ring bells. There's going to be a big bell on the outside of the ring that the guy who's on the apron is going to ring. And I want you to sell that like it's a fucking, like the real athletes and shit, a real tag team. And go.
We're not coming back from this, right?
Yeah, what are you going to do? You're going to be like, oh, okay. And then after that, you're going to dip me in molten hot lava, right? You're going to kill me, right? And I'd be like, no, we're not. We're actually going to make you suffer. And you're going to call the whole rest of the night. And you're going to live with this forever in your memory. It's going to be burned in your memories and your retina. Because we suck and we can't fucking like save this company to begin with. And go. Like that's literally what they did.
That's terrible.
Poor Jim Ross.
Poor Jim Ross. At least Jim Ross. By gal. At least Jim Ross didn't have to witness this next one. We're talking about a nice little musical duet. But hey, last time I checked, we don't sing duets on the way down to the ring, right? Doop doop doop.
To your story, but a place you don't want to be at. This ain't no home sweet home, it's a home sweet misery. We knew when we got here, they tried to sway.
The Freebirds, yeah, we're gonna go right into it. I gotta tell you, you know what? I want to preface.
Oh, Dave, I'm sorry.
Hold on. I have to preface it with this: we love the Freebirds because it's just due to the simple fact that the Freebirds really created what we call the Freebird rule, right? We're talking about shit, man. Every time the Freebirds come down, there's 3 of them. You don't know which one you're going to wrestle.
Talking about the Freebird rule is they were tag champions.
Phenomenal. I love it.
3 of them. Love it. They could decide before each match which 2 would defend the titles.
Exactly.
So the 3 of them, so the opponents would never know. I don't know how they got the stipulation on their contract, but they somehow did, and it put heat on them because they were heels. So that made perfect sense. So,
and by the way, this Freebird rule has been used with Demolition. Just to off the top of my head, it's been used with New Day for about almost 5 years, and we love the fact that, oh my gosh, one day you'll see this person, one day you'll see that person, and you'll see a completely different match with the tag team.
If booked right, it is done. It's perfect. It's great.
It's phenomenal, and it came from this tag team, right?
So really quick, yes. The Freebirds, the original 3 Freebirds were Terry Gordy, Michael P.S. Hayes, and Buddy Roberts. And those were the original 3. And they were in World Class Wrestling, and they feuded with the Von Erichs, and they got really over then by being heels because they were like Confederate flag supporters. And they weren't racist. They were just like from that part of the United States, and so they carried the Confederate flag around and all that stuff. But they were just that. But Michael P.S. Hayes is super flamboyant, great on the microphone, and Buddy Roberts wasn't a good wrestler, but he was also great on the microphone. And Terry Gordy was awesome for a big man. He was great in the ring. Not very good on the mic, but you had, again, Buddy Roberts and Michael P.S. Hayes. So they go to WCW, and it kind of flaunts there. Like Terry Gordy has some issues. He goes to Japan, Buddy Roberts had some substance issues, and he kind of just flounders off. So they bring in Jimmy Jam Garvin, who already had kind of cemented himself as a pretty good singles wrestler. And Jimmy Jam Garvin was pretty good in the ring, I have to say. And he was good on the mic too, and he could be very flamboyant. So Michael P.S. Hayes said, I want Jimmy Jam Garvin to be a Freebird. And they even tried to bring Terry Gordy back and Buddy Roberts back with Jimmy Jam Garvin. It never worked out. But Hayes, I started watching the Freebirds with Hayes and Jimmy Garvin. I like those 2. And then I researched and saw, the original 3 and all that stuff, and went back to World Class and got some tapes and learned what the Freebirds were really about, which is even more amazing, like I just talked about. But I really liked the pairing of Michael P.S. Hayes and Jimmy Jam Garvin. I thought it was really good. So, they were good in 89 and 90, and they kind of like fizzed out or whatever. So in 92, WCW was again going through one of its many different phases where it was trying to rebuild itself and establish itself with its fan base. So Michael P.S. Hayes had a big voice in the backstage, and the Freebirds, they were a big name. And so Michael Hayes, like, Jimmy Jam Garvin and I want to go away for a while, and we want to come back and reintroduce ourselves. And, we want to have new theme music and all that stuff. So let me talk about the theme music. Bad Street is probably one of the greatest wrestling music ever, right? The themes ever. So having said that, I mean, like, that's a big statement, right? It's one of the best theme musics ever. And it really was. Bad Street was a great theme music. So part of the repackaging of the Freebirds in 1992 was to, we're going to record a new theme song. Okay, well, how can you fucking top Bad Street? Let me tell you how they thought.
Hey, Jess, this is what we call going to the well one too many times, my friend.
Yeah, so a Clash of the Champions 18, I believe it was, in 1992. It was January 21st, 1992. They wanted to relaunch themselves. So they were doing vignettes like coming up and hyping them up and saying, the Freebirds are going to return and they're a new Freebird. They're going to debut their theme song or whatever. So someone said, hey, on Clash of the Champions on live TV, why don't you guys sing your new theme song while you're coming down to the ring? So Michael Hayes said, that sounds fantastic. Doop-ba-da-doop-boop-boop. And so they said, yeah, let's do this. So we're gonna lip sing, or no, actually not even lip sing. I take that back. They're gonna sing their song over the track, if that makes sense. So the song's playing and they're trying to sing like on top of the track. And, that way, if they get out of breath or whatever, like the track will pick up and it won't sound like they're missing a note. That's what they thought. So when they come out for Clash of the Champions in January 21st, 1992, they sing themselves down. So Michael P.S. Hayes has waved bye-bye to his girlish figure at this point. And he's starting to have a little belly and a little pouch. And so he comes out with his normal hairy chest and shit and like no shirt on, but they have like vests on, right? And they have top hats on and they're carrying canes down to the ring. And they're doing a performance of I'm a Free Bird and What Is Your Excuse? Which isn't the worst song. It's not. But like with them performing it, so we're going to debut our new song called I'm a Freebird, What's Your Excuse? So it cuts back and forth from them live walking down to the ring with like boy band microphones on. The microphones on that they have the boy bands wear, the headset. So they have all that. So imagine them walking out and they're like, ladies and gentlemen, the Freebirds. And so they walking out. This is their big unveiling, like their big Freebird 2.0 kind of, like unveiling. And they come down and the Freebird song's playing, the I'm a Freebird and What's Your Excuse song's playing, and they're singing over it. So they're live on these boy band headset microphones, and they're singing. And Michael Hayes is kind of got a belly and hairy chest, and they got these vests on, and they're in their Freebird costumes and top hats and cane, and they're walking down. And someone in the pack, again, just like Jim Herd, nobody stops this man from doing anything. Someone said, why don't you, when you get to the end of the rampway, why don't you walk up the stairs in the arena into the crowd and finish the second half of the song in the crowd? Not looking at Michael Hayes' current physique and saying, like, he might not be doing as much cardio as he should be doing, so we shouldn't send him up stairs on live TV while he's singing a song. But that's what they did. So whoever Michael Hayes came up with that, or I don't know who, or Jim Herd. I don't know who the fuck did. I think Jim Herd was gone at this point, to be honest. But I like blaming him, so it's fun. And so he comes out, and then they start walking up the stairs in the arena, and they're walking upstairs. Both these guys, who probably are, again, they've waved goodbye to their prime at this point. And they get up there and they fucking finish the song, and you can hear Hayes like, like as he's singing, I'm a free bird. Oh, excuse. Like he's just fucking dying. And they have not wrestled a second yet, by the way. So they got to go and do physical activity and wrestle. But the whole thing was planned out. You're going to walk upstairs and sing before you even wrestled. And again, I cannot stress to you guys what the fuck, what a clusterfuck WCW was at this point. Nobody stopped them from doing shit. Ted Turner really wasn't going to cancel them or take them off TV or let them go out of business because you in no other business that anybody would be working for or putting their own money up for would say like, let's just do this shit. They had to talk about this first in the back before the event even aired. Let's do this, and then you're going to climb upstairs, and then what could go wrong? What's the worst thing that could happen? Well, I'll tell you what's the worst thing, because I'm a Freebird. Oh, fuck. And what's your excuse? Jimmy, hold me. Like, and fucking that's exactly what happened. And so then they finish and they come down the stairs, and it's a goddamn clusterfuck with feedback and like throughout the arena. And it's just fucking brutal. And they get and then the match.
How was it? How was the match?
The match is fucking brutal. Like, it's so bad. They flub everywhere. Like, they're facing Big Josh and Brad Armstrong, which honestly are pretty good workers in the industry when you think about it. But it's just not a good match. Like, not a good matching, a pairing, I should say. And so they get in there in the match, they flub, and it's just not good at all. And when Freebirds win, you could see Michael Hayes and Jimmy Jam Garvin go back to watch them just get their hands raised by the ref and fucking be like, you see the look on their face, like, and we're out. And they don't celebrate, and they have this shit, like, it's like someone shoved shit in their mouth. That's the look on their face. And they just fucking walk out real quick and beeline for the ramp and get the fuck out of there. They realize, like, this whole thing, not just the match, this whole thing was just a big fucking turd in a punch bowl. Like, it was just brilliant. So if you go back and you watch this Clash of the Champions, you're going to be like, Jess, you're fucking lying and you're making all of this up. What are you talking about? They never performed live. I'll tell you, they cut it off the network. And it's no fucking coincidence that Michael P.S. Hayes is a big part backstage right now in WWF or WWE, excuse me. I'm going to get sued. Because they cut this off. If you go on YouTube and you type in Fabulous Freebirds perform I'm a Freebird, What's Your Excuse live, it will come right up. But on the network, they cut it off and they go right to the match. Because, yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. You tell me that's not a coincidence that Michael P.S. Hayes is a big deal backstage and they cut it out. Come on. Like, it's so fucking great. Like,
you know what's really interesting about that too, Jess? It's those kind of moments that could possibly get more subscribers than the network, and they just cut it out. I find that
I don't even know about that, Dave, but it makes me happy. It makes me fucking happy. And if one other person besides me can watch that and go, that's a fucking.
No, I'm with you completely. It's hilarious, but I go into WWE archives to find shit like that, and I laugh my ass off. It's like,
we should just do a whole episode on fucking WCW fuck ups between 1990 and 94, and like we'll come up with it's like a 9-hour episode.
We'll have material through 2020. I'll tell you that.
I'm sling about that, but that again, that's number 2. Go back, Clash of the Champions, January 21st, 1992. You won't see this. You'll just see the match, and you can watch the awful match. But go to YouTube to actually see them singing themselves out.
You literally type in, I'm a Freebird, what's your excuse?
Yeah. Yeah, yes. And right up.
That was it.
Remember when he performed it at the Hall of Fame?
So that's my commentary on that shit.
Well, you know, it's quite a cluster. Freebirds version 2.
And I don't want to be.
Let's talk about another total clusterfuck. Let's talk about Black Scorpion. And the trouble with Black Scorpion, this is a fucking over. I don't know. I mean, it is just, it's totally overdone as the realm of gimmicks go. So overdone that it was a gimmick in itself. I don't know if WCW was trying to play on maybe, you know, New Japan or Lucha, where you can just have anybody wear a mask, right? But holy shit, this gimmick was
the answer is no. The answer is no. And how the fuck, like, whenever I swear to the people that are listening, however many or little of you there are. We don't plan on doing all WCW fuck ups on this.
It's just how it works out, bro.
And I'm listening to Dave, and we pitch ideas just so you guys can get an idea of how we brainstorm. And we have like a little text, the 3-way text that cuz Dave and I participate in. And we just throw, what do you want to do in a topic? Let's do this topic. Okay, cool. How about this, and this? And I'm throwing it out, and I'm like, I swear to God, like I'm trying hard to find a WWF gimmick. And I know there's a lot. I swear, I know there is a lot, and I mean that. Like there is, and we will find them. But like WCW ones just keep popping in, like whether it's Oz or fucking the Ding Dongs or goddamn Bad Street USA, or not Bad Street, but I'm a Freebird. Like I don't understand. And then the Black Scorpion comes up, and I'm like, God, we should just name this episode like WCW Fuck Ups Part, Infinity, because like it never fucking stops. We don't do it on purpose. It's just good shit, and you guys should listen to our advice and go watch the shit. It's good stuff.
Black Scorpion. It's just. This gimmick was played by several people, just to name a few. You got Ole Anderson, you got Al Perez, you got Franz Hooray, you got he wasn't. I don't even think Franz was even like a wrestler. He would just conduct magic tricks in the crowd.
Right now, I saw a guy in a black costume with a black mask on, and like that's all I knew.
And you're like, what the fuck is going on here, right? It's just fucking weird. And it was supposed to be this big gimmick, I think, to go up and give Sting some conflict as Sting won the title. And I think, Jess, you even talked about it. It kind of fucked up his title run when you really think about it.
Not kind of, it did. Like on the last episode that we did, it was on the Ultimate Warrior. I mentioned this. And I truly believe that, Sting, it's ironic that they were the Blade Runners and Sting and the Warrior started with each other. Because when they went in separate companies, Sting in NWA/WCW and Warrior in WWF, they both beat the biggest wrestlers on that side of the fence. Warrior beating Hogan, Sting beating Flair. And after that, you would think, okay, like if you're running a company and you were trying to, continue to make what's that word? Fucking money. What would you do? Like you would treat those the two people that you just had beat the biggest fucking names in your profession. You would fucking make sure that they were taken care of. Okay, so if I'm gonna have Sting beat Flair, I got to make sure Sting has opponents, right? That's what pro wrestling is. Like feeding opponents, feeding, whether it's a heel or face, you got to feed them, and you got to make sure that the storylines are there and everything's supported. So they have Sting beat arguably the greatest wrestler of the 80s and 90s, Flair, and so they have him beat him in 1990 at Great American Bash in July of 1990, and
that's a big deal, by the way, Jess.
That's a huge deal. And it's still a really big deal. Go back and watch that match on the network. It's a great match, and I wouldn't say great match, but I mean it's a very good match, and it completely highlights what I talk about: putting the crown on Sting, making Sting the guy, and all that stuff. And so, so he's champion, and what do? Like they don't like push him. Same thing with the Warrior. They don't give him good opponents. They don't give him fresh opponents. They just rehash shit. And then, or when they give him fresh opponents, they make the most hokiest endings ever. So this storyline that starts like, I want to say in September of 1990, where this guy in this black costume was coming out. And he had a voiceover. It's like he was talking, but it's over the loudspeaker. And he's like, Sting, I am the Black Scorpion. I'm someone from your past. You will know soon enough when I'm ready to tell you who I am.
Of course you are. You're too much of a hero and a champion to refuse to hear this tape. Sting.
So that so they were just trying to pretty much like just tease you and say, okay, like we have this gimmick and it's someone from Sting's past, right? Like someone's jumping from WWF. It's got to be So for months, Dave and Cuz, goddamn months. Like they do this thing where, and even as soon as Halloween Havoc, Sting's defending his championship in 1990 Halloween Havoc against Sid Vicious, and but before they bring Sting up for an interview, and it's so fucking hokey and awful. They obviously hired this magician to dress up like the Black Scorpion, and this girl that and I'm doing air quotes again, takes her from the audience brings her up, and she's completely overacting, like, like grabbing her, because he's grabbing her by her wrist, and she's like, like trying to fake her, fake like she's so overacting and like trying to fake like she's getting away. And they have this cage set up like a magician, and he puts her in this cage, and he turns the cage around to show the audience all the sides, and he puts the black cape over, and he lifts the black cape off the cage, and she's gone. Oh my God, the Black Scorpion's a magician. And then all of a sudden she comes running out from backstage, and she jumps in Sting's arms, and she doesn't know how she got there. I'm not even making this up. Go back to Halloween Havoc 1990, and this shit actually happened. They hired a magician to dress up like, and they hired an actress as a girl.
Yeah, that's Franz Hooray, right? That's the magician as a Black Scorpion. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, and I didn't even know that. I'm glad you backed that up, Dave, because that shit's ridiculous. So they do this.
Yeah, he's not even a wrestler, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they do more shit like this, and they have a Clash of the Champions where he fights. I think it was Al Perez that was under the mask, and that's irrelevant. And
he's one of them, yeah.
Sting beats him, the Black Scorpion, on a Clash of the Champions, and you think, okay, fucking finally beat the Black Scorpion. And then the real Black Scorpion standing on the entryway going, Sting, you didn't beat me, blah, 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 and all this stuff. So you're thinking like, okay, the payoff for this shit better fucking like define Sting's title reign, because if not, you're in fucking major trouble. So Ole Anderson's doing all the voiceovers. He's doing the Sting, like, and all that stuff. He's doing all that shit.
Who incidentally did what voiceover that everybody knows?
He did the Shockmaster.
The Shockmaster.
Apparently, fucking Ole Anderson can do one voice. Shockmaster. I'm the Shockmaster or Black Scorpion. And so all this is happening or whatever. And again, this is playing out for months on Clash of the Champions, on WCW Saturday Night, on, the pay-per-view. So finally, at Starrcade 1990, Sting is going to face the Black Scorpion. And God damn it, when he beats him, he's going to fucking unmask him. This is it. Here we go. Black Scorpion looks oddly familiar. Weird. So they're wrestling. Main event, Starrcade. Wrestling, non-climactic, wrestling. God, he just looks really odd. He's doing a lot of moves that some other guy that we know does. At the end of it, the Horsemen run down. Sting takes the mask off. It's fucking Ric Flair with short hair. and that's it. The reason why it's Ric Flair, that was not a surprise, because Flair lost the title to Sting, and Flair had actually been wrestling the whole time, like leading up to this Starrcade main event. They never knew what the main event was going to be. I don't know if they were waiting for a wrestler to jump ship, that they thought that this storyline would captivate someone from the WWF, and they'd be like, I want to have my contract, I'm going to go to WCW, and I'll be the Black Scorpion. I have no idea. Nobody knows. That's the crazy thing, is nobody knows what the thought process was. So at the end, they just got desperate. And again, I think Dave said it in one of our past episodes. They go to Flair. They just fucking go to Flair when shit goes south, and they put the title on him. He gets unveiled. He gets pinned by Sting, by the way. And then Sting unmasks him, and it's Ric Flair. And then I think on a house show, like not even a month later, Flair pins Sting and wins the WCW Championship again. And that ends Sting's first reign as world champion.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Talk about sabotage. Talk about what the fuck are you doing? Talk about anything you could think of that's negative. Like, unbelievable that WCW, again, they had a multi-millionaire, billionaire that was behind them and would never put them out of business because he had a soft spot in his heart. So Ted Turner would never, ever let WCW go under. But, I mean, talk about a company that should have went out of business like 19 times in like a 4-year span. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I think it's over for Sting. Sting, back to his feet. Grabbing a mask. Trying to pull it off. And here it comes. Here comes the mask. Who is it? It's got blonde hair. But it's not long hair. Who is it? We got 30 seconds. It's Ric Flair. The Black Scorpion is Ric Flair. It's Nature Boy Ric Flair.
So this next particular wrestler is definitely not overhyped. He's definitely not overrated. The man could work, did a lot of stuff in AWA, but some people would call this gimmick the worst gimmick in wrestling history. I'm talking about Terry Taylor, and I'm talking about the Red Rooster, bro. I mean, Taylor was a great worker in AWA. He was no stranger to bad gimmicks. I mean, they even had like tailor-made fucking Terry Taylor. They had the man Terry Taylor. All this bullshit that really didn't amount to much of anything. But you can call this the worst gimmick on the biggest stage. And it's seriously argued, like it is argued to this day. Like nobody wants to take accountability for this bullshit, right? Some people say, well, the Red Rooster, Terry Taylor, he read it wrong, or he didn't commit enough. I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you right now, the Red Rooster, he fucking committed, okay? He committed to what we thought this gimmick was, or what he thought the gimmick was. I mean, God damn it. I mean, the Red Rooster, right? Some people say, well, he has a rooster strut. He's supposed to be cocky. That's why we called him the Red Rooster. If that was the case, why the fuck is he coming out in a red fucking mohawk and he's clucking like a chicken and he's bobbing his fucking head and he's got his elbows up in a chicken wing? I mean, who the fuck lets you do this? I mean, I don't get it. And Jess, give me the backstory of what some.
What do you think, Cuz?
You're jumping in. I feel it. Give me some love.
I was gonna say.
Oh, Jesus.
That was like a raptor.
Yeah. What I was gonna say though was, what about that story? I guess they don't know if it's true or not. Whether one, that he said he was supposed to be Mr. Perfect, which I think that's probably bullshit. But two, the other story is that he just picked a random gimmick out of a box or something like that.
No, both are not true. Okay. Bruce Pritchard's kind of
they joke about it. They joke about it.
If you want to believe Bruce Pritchard, but I believe him in the sense that, like, first of all, in pitch meetings, so many things were thrown against the wall with Vince. I mean, Vince will talk about, give me the craziest shit you could think of. Okay, I want this guy to walk down Vince, and he actually throws pieces of shit out to the crowd. Okay, let's just talk about that. Like, that's how their pitch meetings are. So I don't disagree that possibly when in the infant stages of signing Curt Hennig and Terry Taylor, they might have been like, well, one of our, Bruce or someone has an idea of like a guy called Mr. Perfect, and he's perfect and blah, blah, blah. And what, who do you want to put that with? I don't doubt that that's the conversation that was had, but I don't think it came close to Terry Taylor being Mr. Perfect. It came down to Terry Taylor or Curt Hennig. One would get the Red Rooster and one would get Mr. Perfect. I don't think it ever came down to that. I don't.
They came in approximately the same time, right?
There are so many pitch meetings that they have with Vince and Bruce Pritchard's talked about where they just throw outlandish things at the wall and see if it'll stick. And I just don't think that it ever came, like the way Terry Taylor tells it, it came down to me and Curt Hennig. One gets this and one gets that. That I do not believe that's true. I think that's bullshit.
No. Because literally, there's even stories about Terry Taylor. Is that, well, the way he walks, he's cocky. He's the
That's
rooster.
how it started. When he first got signed, Terry Taylor has always wanted to be Ric Flair, and so when he was with UWF and NWA, he would strut because he really Terry Taylor was a big fan of Ric Flair, legitly. And so he wanted to act like him. And if you watch Terry Taylor from the UWF and NWA, he wore a robe when he came down, just a flashy, with the sequins on them and all that stuff. And like Hammer Valentine kind of, or Flair, but not feathers. And so he would come down, he would strut, and he would do all that stuff. And he just wore like regular tights. And on his boots, he would put like TT for Terry Taylor, where Flair would put RF, right? So he's just copying Ric Flair. He loved Ric Flair. He loved that gimmick. So he wanted to be that way. So that's when they first signed him to WWF. They were like, this motherfucker gets in there and tries to strut like Ric Flair, but he actually looks like a rooster doing it. And so it was a joke that they made about Taylor. Like, you look like a fucking rooster when you're trying to strut like Flair. And that's what happened. So that is when someone said he should be the Red Rooster. He should strut around like a rooster. He's the cock of the walk. He's the head rooster in the hen. And all that stuff. That's where it started from. So what Bruce Pritchard says and what Terry Taylor says are different at this point. Yeah. Terry Taylor says, I'm forced with this cartoon gimmick of you got to strut around like an actual rooster and, blah, 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 and do all that stuff and cluck not cluck, but jerk your head like a chicken and all that stuff. Where Bruce said, no, we told you that you walk like a rooster and you strut like a rooster, but roosters are the cock of the walk. They're like the head, in the pen. So you should take that. Bruce Pritchard says that Terry Taylor's the one that fucked the gimmick up and said, okay, fine. I'll put red in my hair. I'll put a red mohawk on me and I'll be a rooster. and that's where Terry Taylor fucked it up and read the cards wrong. Whereas like, Terry Taylor says, no, it's a cartoon federation. It's a cartoon, place I was at. You had a junkyard dog wearing a chain. You had Jake bringing a snake. You had Coco with the bird on his shoulder. You had the Bulldogs bringing a bulldog down. They wanted me to be a goddamn fucking rooster. So I had to put fucking red paint and shit in my fucking hair and, whatever. That's what Terry Taylor said. Terry Taylor's been called a lot of things. I kind of tend to believe Terry Taylor in this. That it was that, come on, pal. Like you're a rooster, dressed like a rooster.
Has Taylor been known to lie much? I don't really think so.
I think Terry Taylor is just he's a fabricator sometimes, but at the same time, I don't think he would lie about that because doesn't that fit what WWE was?
I agreed with that, and think about the other side of it too. If they saw him come out on a house show like that, they'd be like, "Bro, you overdid it. Let's reel this back in." They let him do that for years.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here! Like
if they didn't like it, if Bruce,
they would have stopped it. Yeah.
Richard's original gimmick was, when they first started doing that, they were like, "Dude, we didn't fucking mean you put red shit in your hair,
they
bro."
They would have fucking shut it down.
They
get the fuck out of here
with that gimmick. They want to, bushwhackers. We think it looks stupid, but it made money. So Vince's like, "Yeah, keep doing that. It makes money." So like, if Red Rooster was doing something that wasn't making them money, they'd be like, "Don't do that shit." They did that on purpose, and. Because Terry Taylor was not Ric Flair and was not anything close to him, even though he thought he was. And so as a joke, they're like, this motherfucker struts around like a fucking rooster. He thinks he's Flair. Let's fucking mock him. That's what they did. Just like when they named Virgil, who is Dusty Rhodes' real name. And like they put Dusty in polka dots, which to this day, Bruce Pritchard's like, that none of that was ever a rib against Dusty.
Yeah, Conrad's like, is this a rib? Is this a rib? I love that.
You named Virgil for a reason because he was a slave bodyguard. And they named him Virgil because at the time he was like the head booker in WCW and all that stuff.
And you're fucking with Dusty. That's the whole.
Yeah, so that's what it was. I believe the fact that they really did want Terry Taylor to dress like a rooster and fucking. If he put on a rooster costume, they probably would have been like, "There you go, pal. Fucking way to take the ball and run with it." Like, I really believe that. That's what they wanted.
Shit.
And to this day, though, he's the most recognized as the Red Rooster. You can say what you want. That motherfucker. Yeah, when he went back to WCW, he would hit all the way from the crowd and stuff. Like, yeah, it's a nightmare. But at the same time, like think about Terry Taylor's career. It's the best thing that ever happened to Terry Taylor. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's what he's most known for, right? And I hate to say it, it brings me back even to someone like a Dusty Rhodes. I know Dusty from the polka dots, bro. I didn't know Dusty until then. So,
doing contrast or whatever, it can't be overhyped and failed because they tried hard to overhype Dusty and hope. I really believe they would hope Dusty flopped the polka dots, but Dusty got that shit over because Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty.
He's super charismatic and he's talented.
Fuck yeah.
Over Terry Taylor. Not that good. So he's overhyped in the sense that they did put some time into him. When he originally debuted, he was just a heel. He was Scary Terry Taylor or something like that. And then Bobby Heenan picked him up and said, and the whole storyline was Heenan's going to mold him. Well, every time Heenan would try, Terry would lose. And Heenan's like, God, I'm getting sick of you. Every time he'd strut Terry Taylor out there, Terry would lose. And then so finally, he's just like, you know what? This guy's the Red Rooster. He's cock of the walk. He's whatever. He's all this stuff or whatever. And then so Heenan's like, now that I've branded you, now you're going to be successful. He still lost. So then Heenan turned on him or Taylor turned back on him, whatever. And I think they did it on Primetime Wrestling. And Terry Taylor just got sick of him. And he's just like, I'm fucking done with you or whatever. So then after that was when you saw the face Red Rooster where he put the red in his hair and shit like that or whatever. So I believe it was all by design. It was all designed.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Oh, how about a handshake?
Great. You're asking for a lot now.
Well, there's an apology and a handshake. You're two gentlemen. I think that it's only fitting.
Okay, it's over then.
Oh, yeah.
It's
so.
over.
Yes, sir.
I like to
For
see
good.
that.
I'm through with you. You're through with me.
Yes.
I made a mistake.
Sounds good to me.
Forget it. Forget it. Forget it.
Not very often he apologizes.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
Okay?
Oh, what? Why are you doing that?
I'm doing nothing.
Why would you do that?
Come on, Marty. Get him. Get him. Choke him. Choke him. Pull him out for there and choke him.
So yeah, sadly, that was the thing. Is like the Red Rooster was if you believe certain people, it was intended to be kind of like a serious gimmick, and him not to put red shit in his hair and to be like this baby face that was just super confident, whatever. But I kind of believe what it became because, like Dave said, they never stopped it. If they didn't like this guy putting red shit in his hair, they'd be like, that's not what we want for that character. No. But it's what they wanted. They made him the Red Rooster, and they forced him to put red shit in his hair, like a red mohawk, like a rooster, and all that stuff. And like he walked around, like Dave said, clucking like a chicken and all that stuff. And it's just what they wanted. And it was just, it sucked like really bad. And it flopped. Even though people do remember him, people also remember the gobbledygooker, and that's not a good thing. So, it's like, it was a overhyped and failed gimmick. It just never worked.
Yep. That's really it. I'm telling you. And guys, I'll tell you that's the end of our episode for today. That's our top 4, and like I said, overhyped.
I'm sure there'll be a part 3.
Oh God, yes. I can't fucking wait.
Maybe focus on
Overhyped
somebody.
and failed gimmicks. And like I said, as always, you can reach us via Instagram at O.W.P 2019, SoundCloud at Our Wrestling Podcast, YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel, or download WrestlePost. It's an app at no charge to you, and you can join us along with other great podcasts of the day. This is Dave signing off along with Jess and Cuz. This is the O.W.P. Have a good one.